I'm gonna have to get a real job? Wait, isn't YouTube a real job? No, I don't know. Today's video was filmed on play.furiouspvp.net. You guys, this is an amazing faction server that has a huge player base and offers tons of amenities like a farm that you can start on, one of the best shops where you can buy and sell all sorts of blocks. Literally, this shop is massive. Then they even have a mine, kind of like prison, that you can mine at, and you can even sell the stuff you mine or use it to help start up your faction. Then they have their own netherworld where you can harvest all that stuff, sell it, and become a little bit more wealthy. And then you can do /buy and buy pretty much anything. Decorative blocks, active blocks, kits. So what are you guys waiting for? Come on, play.furiouspvp.net and join the fight. What is up, everyone? Mr. Aviator here, and today I'm going to be talking about getting a job. Yes, this is something YouTubers usually don't like to talk about because it's usually talking about the end of a career and moving on to something else that you might not love as much. So it's going to be something kind of touchy to talk about for me, but I want to tell you guys what I plan on doing if and when this YouTube career of mine ever ends. I hope it never does, but if it does, I do have backup plans. You know, I think it's always smart, no matter what you're doing, to have a backup plan, just in case, you know, stuff hits the fan. You'll be able to move on with your life and hopefully not have too much transitional time and move on to greater, better things, and hopefully still continue to make money and continue to support your family and support your lifestyle. And that's my goal. But before we get into this video, you guys, please take the 2 seconds out of your day, Lemonheads, to help make my day by slapping that like button, you guys. It really does mean the world to me. Let's go for 2,000 likes on this video. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so basically, I've wanted to do tons of different things. If you guys didn't know, let's start with my job history. So before my dream job of YouTube came along, if you guys didn't know, I do YouTube full-time. It's my only job, and I love it. I do Aviator Gaming, I do Aviator Games, I do Geeky Unboxing. I missed a few days of that channel, but I still do it, and I try to diversify myself as much as possible. I also have a server, aviatorcraft.com, so I work as hard as I possibly can to keep this dream a reality. And before this, I worked as a construction worker. I was a millwright. So basically I did a lot of welding and I worked in mills, and it was super hot work. Even in the winter, it was like 70 to like 90 degrees depending on what we were doing that day in the building. And during the summer, it was unbearable, like hundreds of degrees inside the building and humid and sticky. And every day you left work, you were just filthy and sweaty and disgusting. But I did that. I was a waiter at Longhorn Steakhouse for a while when I got out of high school, and I liked that job a lot. I made a lot of money in tips, and I had a pretty good personality, so people liked me, and that was fun. I worked at Aeropostale clothing store when I was in high school and just getting out of high school. Had that job for a while, and that was a lot of fun. I actually worked my first Black Friday doing that, and I got to stand at the front of the store holding a teddy bear, saying, if you spend $50, you get this teddy bear. And you know, they only put the most good-looking people in the front of the store, so I must have been pretty hot. So I had that. I was a dishwasher at a supper club and a dishwasher at a small diner, so 2 different dishwashing gigs. I worked at a farm for over a year, which was hard work but fun work, and you know, I wouldn't mind owning a farm one day, if you know, but that's not what I want to do. Don't worry, we're veering off the track. Okay, I like cows. Okay, so dishwasher twice, waiter, you know, clothing store employee, everything, construction worker, farmer. Literally everything. I answered phone calls at AT&T customer service. So I came into work every day, worked 9-hour days, answering the phone, basically, and listening to people complain and trying to fix people's problems, like if they didn't have service or if they went over data, stuff like that. And that was actually a really fun job because it involved computers and technology all day, and I got to feel really important, like I held these people's lives in my hand. But okay, so that was all fun and games until, you know, this YouTube stuff came along and literally saved my life. It made me so happy to do something I truly love over stuff that I could just tolerate. Like, I could tolerate all those other jobs, like, you know, because I needed the money and I wanted to live a life that normal people live, so I wanted to work. But YouTube came along and fulfilled my dreams. But now, let's say that YouTube ever ends for me, which YouTube ends for everyone eventually, unless you can migrate it to something else like television, film, writing, you know, stuff like that. Unless you can migrate your YouTube success to a different platform, YouTube will eventually end for everyone, or you'll eventually see your favorite YouTubers move on to something different. Now, if this ever happens to me, and in my case, say YouTube ends for me, and you know, I'm not popular anymore, no one watches my videos anymore. I hope this never happens, but one day it could, and it might. I plan on moving into being a pilot. So a lot of you guys know I got my name Aviator Gaming because I love aviation. I think flight is fascinating. My uncle's a pilot. I look up to him a lot. He's a private jetliner pilot, so he flies only like the mega rich around in these private jets that are like $3,000 an hour to rent. And if you guys know, just flying from LA to California, I mean, LA to New York, that's a 5-6 hour flight. So you're looking at $18,000 for that flight through him. So like, I really like the idea of flying, people around, getting them to the destination, seeing people happy, going on vacation, or getting back home to family, stuff like that. I think that would be a lot of fun. So I want to be a commercial pilot at first. There's not a lot of money there. It's about $60,000, which might sound like a lot, but for the amount of work you have to do and the amount of hours you're gone, it's not a ton of money. It's kind of like being a teacher. You work a lot of hours, don't get paid a lot of money. But now, like, eventually work my way to the private sector and maybe make like $100,000 to $150,000 a year, and then eventually work my way to like UPS or FedEx and make like $300,000 a year flying like some giant Airbus full of cargo. Like, hopefully I don't have a castaway moment ever, but basically this year and into next year I'm going to be starting my pilot's license. Don't worry, I don't plan on quitting YouTube or anything, but I just think it's smart to have a backup plan. This could last another 10 years for all I know, but it won't hurt me to have my pilot's license, have my degree, and when this is all said and done, I'll be able to move on seamlessly. That's my goal in life. Like, if you guys ever get sick of me and my career is over, I want to be able to just move on seamlessly. I don't want to have like 2 years where I'm unemployed, looking for work, having very difficult times, and putting my family, because I'm about to be married. I could have kids within a couple years. Say this stuff doesn't end for 3-4 years for me, I could have a kid that's 2 or 3 years old, or I could have 2 kids and I'll have my wife, and I don't want them to be thrown up in the air because my YouTube career ended. So basically, my plans are, if this ever does end for me, I do want to become a pilot, fly commercial for a while, then eventually fly private, and then eventually fly cargo, because cargo does pay the most. So your goal with any job is to eventually move up to where you're making the most money and where you can support your family the most. And then I guess when I get older, in the giant scheme of things, maybe be some type of, I don't know, trainer or something like that of the sort, where I could train other pilots or at least inspect their knowledge of their craft, because pilots basically have to go like through little flight simulators every once in a while, like a few times a year, basically to stay fresh, to take tests to basically see if they have everything remembered, so they're not going to crash any planes anytime soon, basically to keep their memory fresh, re-jog everything. So I guess if I get super old and I'm still being a pilot, I would move on to that, doing something simple, because I know being a pilot's a lot of traveling. My uncle actually is gone 2 weeks at a time, and then he's home for 2 weeks. So there's pros and cons to that. Like right now, I'm home all the time. I get to see my fiance all the time, and when I lived in Wisconsin, I got to see my family all the time. But my uncle, he's gone 2 weeks at a time, so he doesn't get to see his family basically 6 months of the year. He's gone, but the other 6 months he's there 24/7. So I feel like as a YouTuber, you're there 24/7, 365. But, I think a pilot is one of the closest careers where I could be home at least, 24/7, 180, 182, like half of the year home 24/7, half the year gone 24/7. Because I feel like with a real job, you're gone every day, 10 hours a day, 5 days a week. It becomes a grind, and you don't get to see your family. You only get to have like those 2 days, and you can become really stressed. And I feel like, having those 2 weeks apart will just make your love all that stronger when you get home. Like when I return to my wife and potentially my kids at that point, they'll miss me, and they'll be happy I'm home, and it'll be a great 2 weeks, and they'll be sad to see me go. But when I come back, it'll be that miss and love again, and I think that'll just keep relationships strong. And that's why I want to do that kind of job if this ever ends, or when it does end. And this was kind of a somber, like saddening topic to talk about, because no YouTuber wants to talk about the end of a career, especially with something I love so much. Like, I hold this dearly to my heart. I work my butt off every day because I don't want it to end. I never do, but you just gotta plan, and that's what I'm doing this year. So like I said, I'm taking some piloting courses, and if it ever does end, I'll be ready to go into my next thing. I probably won't love it as much as I love this job, but you gotta move on if stuff ends for you. And I would love maybe to get a job at a gaming company or something like that, but I'm still gonna have that piloting stuff in my back burner. Like, say YouTube ends and Fullscreen wants to hire me full time. Well, I'll take that opportunity first, and then slowly move if that ever ends moving to piloting. But okay, you guys, I guess I rambled enough. I hope you guys did enjoy this talk with me. I like doing these talks. We do them like every weekend. I hope you guys are enjoying them. If you are, make sure you slap that like button, guys. Show me that you do like them. And if you watch the whole thing, comment down below the future, because that's what we're planning for. So if you comment down below the future, I'm going to know you watched the whole video. But until next time, guys, remember to take it easy. Live and squeezy.